Hi there, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at a Toyota Hilux Surf, also known as the JDM version of the 4Runner. This one here from 1996, so it's a 185 series, with a turbo diesel intercooled version of the 1KZ engine. 188,000 kilometers on it. We'll just inspect the vehicle prior to it being sent over to the USA for export. That is what we do. Buy the cars from auction and export them to you. So this one here was already bought by somebody, but you yourself can get something like this if you want. Now 188 and 972 kilometers. Of course, you have your pick of what mileage car that you want to bid on. You choose the bid price and all of that at auction. It is a fun system, and once you've done it once, trust me, it is addicting. So this is a dual battery version of it, and so this would be considered the cold weather package. The coolant has been checked and it's okay. The oil has been checked and it's okay. It is a diesel, so the oil is a little bit on the black side, but it doesn't have any signs of contaminants. Probably a good idea to get that changed nonetheless. In 2006, at 100,000 kilometers, the timing belt was replaced, and so it's probably time for the timing belt to be replaced again. In terms of mileage, you've still got another little bit, and you're probably okay running the timing belt a little bit more than the typical 10 years or 100,000 kilometers, but I wouldn't risk it too much more than that. Got a little bit of oil seeping. This is oil blow-by. It's a really common thing on these engines. You can just clean it up, and you don't really have to repair anything for that. Once it gets bad enough, you can, but really it can get much, much, much worse before it becomes a problem. So not much else to say about the engine here. It is the intercooled version, which is cool. You get a little bit more power from it and a little bit higher tow capacity. Speaking of which, I don't know exactly what the tow capacity is on this, but if you're interested, you can send us an email and we can look it up for you. Now that is a functional top mount intercooler scoop, and it helps complete the body lines of the vehicle and let people know that it isn't just like a regular North American version of the 4Runner. It is the JDM Hilux Surf. So I'll get into the body, the interior, and all of that, but first off, here's the auction inspection sheet. So let's go ahead and translate this. Now this one's going over to, is landing in LA. You can't register these on the road in California. I believe all the other states are okay, but do check with your state, because in the states, because it's United States, there are 50 different states and each one can set their own rules. As far as I know, this and all other cars from Japan are legal, save for the K vans and K trucks, which we don't have any at the moment, but some states are regulating against them. Okay, so let's get into this. It's a 1996 Hilux Surf SSR-G intercooler diesel turbo. And small turbo engines, really cool. North America, all the diesel engines seem to be like 6.8 liter or something really, really large in a large heavy truck. It's really cool to get the smaller diesel engines in this, or for example, the Mitsubishi Delica or the Toyota Hiace. It's an auction grade 3.5 with an interior grade C with alloy wheels, power steering, power windows, and airbag. The sales points from the seller here say as the engine is a 1KZ engine, known to be a very nice engine. Not only is it fairly powerful, but it's also fairly reliable, and so a good combination between reliability and power. Rear-mounted spare tire, toll collection box for Japanese highways, purchase from user, and the first time at auction. The notes section here says original Navi, comes in the car, which is really funny. It's a very old style Navi. Of course, it's not going to work outside of Japan, but it is, the Navi that you got in 1996, which was quite an expensive option for cars in 96. It was one of the first few years of original OEM Navi systems. Okay, and some other things going to be sent to the owner. We'll send those to you, paperwork and whatnot. The report here from the auction inspector. So this is the details about the condition of the vehicle. So let's go over it. It says carpet stained. Aftermarket headlights, which I think is just a late model headlight. I don't think it's aftermarket. Oh no, it does say depot on it. That is an aftermarket headlight. Huh. It does look nice, and that's made out of glass. Very cool. That means it won't go foggy. Okay, fog lights. One cover is missing from the fog lights. The trunk area is dirty and scratched. Underside surface rust. Various scratches, dents, and repairs, and like unclear paint. And the unclear paint you can actually see on the hood and on the roof. So I'll show you those in a sec. Passenger seat stained and dirty. Left front door can't open from the outside. It's true. The inside you can, but not from the outside. So a bit of a problem. It seems like one of the linkages came off because when you move the door around, you can hear it rattling. Door trim has a cigarette burn in it and wear. Driver's seat saggy and slightly dirty, and the rear seat is stained. Here we have a Y1, which is a crack. W3, which is poor quality repaint. Same thing goes on the roof. Paint peeling on the edges of the tops of the doors. Paint peeling on the top of the hatch. Okay. Paint peeling on the back bumper there. There's also some paint peeling on the front, or chipped at least. And then this fender has marks from it being removed, but no signs of an accident. Before we get into the details, I'm just going to take you for a tour around the car so you can see it from all different angles. I've been living away from North America for long enough to not know what the 4Runner looks like. And so I can't tell visually anymore how things are different. But I believe that this silver and blue two-tone might be a Japan exclusive for the Hilux Surf. It kind of seems like the type of thing. And then I'm not sure if the North American ones are the over-fendered versions, like this. But they were available in wide body like this and narrow body without the over-fenders. This one has a rear spoiler with a rear under mirror, which is very cool. There's a mirror that comes out of here and goes down so that you can see the back. Like you look through your rear view mirror, and then you look through that mirror, and then it shows you the straight down of how far you are against curbs or other cars or things like that. Very useful here in Japan, where you don't have an awful lot of room to move around amongst other cars. And a vehicle like this would be considered fairly large here in Japan compared to your average car size. I know it's definitely not F-150 size or, heaven forbid, F-350 size. But it still can be a little bit difficult for people who are not used to a vehicle that is of this size. You know, if you're going to be driving a K vehicle like a K van or K truck and then go up to this, the extra visibility is very helpful. And roads here are much tighter too. So that's why you get things like this fender mirror here, which gives you a view of how you're lining up right along here. So through this mirror, you can see, that feels like it's a little bit off. Maybe it's just me. You can see the white lines here for where you're supposed to be parking and line it up all nice. Okay, so details about the exterior here. This is a front bumper guard, that it was a factory option. It has an integrated armor underneath for going off-roading, and that continues on a little bit back there, and it protects from like rocks and stuff getting up in the frame, and so if you have something like this, it can prevent rust from becoming a problem. Now it is an older vehicle, so in this part of it we're going to be pointing out some of the defects. Like for example, this section here, the paint has all faded off of it. It's supposed to be like a chrome finish there. The Bosch fog light cover is missing there. That's the one that they were talking about. And then the bush bar says Toyota on it. It is a very cool design with the plastic and the chrome. Unfortunately, the chrome is a little on the damaged side. So on this side here, we've got peeling of the chrome and then some cracking of it along here. And the same thing with the cracking around here. And some fade and some bubbling over here. Okay, if you don't like the bush bar, or you don't want to restore it, or you don't like the damage on it, of course that can be taken off. That said, it's not going to be too much of a hassle to get that redone at home if you want. You don't need to re-chrome it. You can just paint it black or something like that. The grille itself here has some fade in it. Okay, and we are being a little bit picky because that's my job. I need to find all the defects on the car. Here, look at the reflections, and it's not as clear and as bright as you'd like. And of course, the vehicle is a little bit dirty, so bear with me. And that's what they mean by unclear paint. The same thing goes on the roof. Okay, now all four of the over fenders here have a gasket that has cracked. This gasket that goes between the metal of the body and the plastic of the over fender, they crack due to UV damage. And the front bumper has some little chipped off pieces. Now it said Y1 on the front, and I don't really know what they're talking about. I'm going to see extra close here if I can find that Y1. It should be a small crack somewhere, but I don't really see anything. I see those chips of the paint in various places, like around here and in here. And of course I got pictures of all of these to go along with the report, but I don't see anything that's cracked. Just a little bit of paint fade on this and a little bit of paint fade on this. It doesn't stand out an awful lot. Now side panels, like fenders on both sides and all doors and the back fenders, all really good. No signs of really any dents at all, which is great. There are some, maybe some mild scratches, but nothing that really can't be polished out. And then the armor down here, or the side panel, has a couple of minor scratches there and a little bit of paint fade here. Tops of the doors, peeling paint there and there. Also here and here, anything that's facing upward. And if I jump up here, there's also peeling on this section here. Now it looks like scratches, but those are actually pollen. I don't know why, but the pollen turned itself into lines on the top of the roof. And some paint fade and peeling up here. A little bit of fade there. SSR-G from Kochi Toyopet. Okay, we'll come to the interior in a second, but I'll just open this so that you can see. A little bit of rust on there, but I'd say that all of that is looking pretty good. The wiper has its own little mount, so it doesn't mount on the window. Cool, right? So the carrier for the spare tire is just starting to get a little bit of like the paint is faded off, and it's going to be prone to rusting if you don't repaint that. Got a few chips down here. Again with the gaskets, that's on all four of them. And then once again, side panels are looking really good. No signs of scratches or dents really. And then coming down here, your body armor is looking good, your side step is looking good. Okay, as a whole, I think that the body's pretty good. I'd replace those these gaskets here, paint the front bumper, take care of the grille on the front, maybe do something about the faded paint, but in all honesty, that paint doesn't stand out a lot, right? You've got all of this vehicle to look at, and your paint fade is a teeny bit right here, and here, and here, and here. And that's not where people are really looking. If you are a passenger, well, you can't get in this door, but if you are a passenger, maybe that's a little bit annoying to you, hence it could be repainted. You could do a full repaint, make the car look gorgeous. It definitely is has a lot of life left in it, so it's going to be worth it to do that to the right person. Open up the back now. Okay, and that hatch stays up itself. Despite the dampers being a little on the weak side, it'll keep that up and it's not going to fall on you. Back here is a little on the dirty side, but not really that damaged. So it has, some dirtiness in here and on the backs of the seats. And these areas are prone to scratching. I've seen it a lot. It's really not too bad in this one, but that plastic can get scratched up pretty easily if things are knocking against it. Of course, these seats can fold flat, so you can have a huge area here for bringing stuff. Kind of like those old pickup trucks that had the cap on them, right? But the cap is permanent in this one. I'm talking about those fiberglass caps. I'm not sure if those are a thing anymore. I think they are. They were all the rage when I was a kid in the late 80s. Okay, coming into the back here, your door card is looking good here. The passenger one is the one that has the cigarette burns on it, so I'll be sure to show you that. To fold the seats flat, you need to yoink these up, and then the seat can fold in there. Very Volkswagen Golf-like. And then look at this. Plenty of legs. Legs room? Room for your legs. And a nice place to be in here. I think that the fit in the car feels good. Oh, and we're missing the cup holder piece on the console. So this folds out and becomes your cup holders. And yeah, it looks like one of them is just missing. And the thing underneath that holds the cup in place is missing. And the cover for it. So that whole unit would need to be replaced. Headliner is a little bit dirty, like it's been smoked in. Okay. Into the front section. And our door card is looking pretty good there. Power windows is all fine. The folding mirrors, only one of them folds, which is the driver's side one folds. The passenger one won't fold. Gears inside are probably broken. The seats are in relatively good condition. These are prone to sagging on the outside bolsters. This one is a little bit saggy, but not terribly bad considering we're close to 200,000 kilometers. And then no tears and no cigarette burns. And then usually it's the driver's side door card that's damaged by the cigarette burns, like in this area here as someone's resting their arm here and then cigarette drops on. You'll also find cigarette burns in this area here, but this one doesn't have any. And on the console, but this one doesn't have any. Power window to open the back window. That back one can open too. Slides down. Okay, has a steering wheel cover on it. Not my favorite thing, but enough people like them to put them on. It looks like the steering wheel is maybe a little peely underneath, but not too bad. You can see 188,000 kilometers on it. A section of the dashboard's coming up. A little bit odd. I have seen it before. I haven't seen it a lot. Weird the auction sheet didn't mention that. Now there is an interior picture, so you would be able to see it in the picture. At least there are of most auctions. I believe that there is for this one. Okay, and your cigarette burns on the door card, there's two of them. One right here, and one right here. Floor carpet's a little bit dirty, and the interior has kind of a dusty feel to it. Like many of the seats haven't been sat in some time. You just need to use an extractor to get that dust out of the seats, and it will feel so much nicer. Here's your OEM Navi system. Let's see if we can power that on. Is this the right key? And we'll turn that off. The AC does work, and power steering feels fine. And this is a bit shaky. That's very common on these. I'm not sure how to tighten that, but pretty common. This was working earlier. There we go. I don't know how to get it to Navi. Can't use it. It says the Navi system can't be used. Maybe because you need to put a disc in there, and the disc is missing. But that's CD and tape deck in there. Has something glued onto the dashboard, and then your field gauge here has some minor cracks. Not cracks, but like the LCD panel has deteriorated. It doesn't feel like anything, but they get that way after a while. These ones down here do as well. And that looks so much like an 8-bit Nintendo, doesn't it? 1996 would have been N64 days. But cars always lag behind. Okay. So, needs a cleaning of the interior, but you don't have any smell of cigarettes or anything like that. And I think you can maybe try a heat gun to bend that back into shape and just clamp it in place until it cools and see if you've done a good job. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for the basic walk around. As usual, if you have any questions about this, feel free to email us. You can check out, there should be a link to our email address in the description of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.